Okay, hello and welcome to this evening's stream. We're going to be continuing our Masterclass series in this stream. We're going to be taking a deep look at the templates and packages system within Crayta. So templates allow you to sort of collect entities and assets together into sort of help you create games in a sort of powerful way. And the packages are a way that you can share your creations and things with other players and allow them to use them in their games also. Hopefully all the setups working well, so let me know in chat if there are any issues with the audio. I'm here with Adam, so Adam, if you want to say hi.
Hi everyone.
Okay, so hopefully Adam can be heard as well. So the way this is going to work is we're going to sort of jump between a couple of games. One game is going to be our main game that we're going to create here on stream, and the other game is going to be one that we've kind of prepared earlier, which has got a few entities and things in that we're going to package up to share with the other game. So I think the first thing we'll need to do is create our new game. So we're going to make this one from a completely empty slate. So this is going to come with sort of no prior game logic, and we're going to write this game from scratch this evening. So as I say, we'll go to our create page and we'll go to the empty game. And we'll call this, any ideas, Adam? Call this
puzzle game thing with physics.
We'll call this puzzle rooms. How about that? Puzzle rooms.
Probably better than my idea.
Put you on the spot a little bit then. Okay, right. Pick a good picture. Let's go for that one. Create and enter. So what this is going to do, this is going to create me a new game from an empty slate, and then that's going to sort of take me into the editor now. So what we're about to see is the editor experience side of Crayta. Okay, let's get Adam in with us. So I should be able to go to my social and, oh, not that one, sorry. If I go to puzzle rooms, which is now appeared here, sharing and sharing permissions, select Adam, confirm. So what that's going to do is that's going to give Adam this game also on his account, so he can come in whenever he wants to come and join me. And here he is, nice and quick. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, maybe this is your first time seeing Crayta. Crayta is a collaborative game development platform, which is coming to Stadia exclusively this summer. So what we see here is the collaborative sort of editor side of things. So me and Adam are both here together in the same world, working together in real time. As we mentioned before, so what we're going to try and make for you here on the stream is a puzzle game. So we've got a few things that we're going to be pulling in from the store, from sort of the community tab, which is things like the physics gun that we've seen on previous streams, and then we're going to make some of our own. So Adam, if you wanted to maybe sort of crack on with the sort of environment, maybe start building some of our worlds and pulling in whatever packages you want for that. What I'm going to do is while Adam's here, I'm actually going to just jump out quickly and go to my other world I mentioned earlier, so puzzle workshop. Okay, so that's going to leave Adam in that game because I'd shared it with him permanently. He's going to be able to sort of see that. He'll be able to stay in there and work on that. Okay, so what we have here is our sort of predetermined game. So we have these things that we can see, these various entities that are here in the world. And if I just press F5, in fact, no, what I need to do is set a few things up first. So I'm going to press tab to go to advanced mode. So just to have a quick look at what we've got. So here in this test room here in the world tree, hopefully everyone can see that okay. We have an item spawner, and the item spawner, when we press this button up here, will deliver us a chest. So if I just go ahead and set this up quickly. Oh, that's already set for that, that's fine. And we have a pad. So the spawner will give us a cube, and we can place the cube on the pad to power certain power lines and grids. So that will power this. And what we want to do is just tell this pad of what will power. And that is going to power the light up here. And that light, when it's green, will then pass on a message to the door. So I'm not going to dive too deep into how all these components come together. Maybe we'll do another stream at some point talking more about the events and those sorts of things. But just to give you an idea of how this works. I can drag that entity down there, and that should be that. Okay, lock entities, so I also need to tell the door where the lock is. And I also then need to tell the power line when it's powered, trigger the light as well. Okay, so just a few little drag and drop things and we can start to set this environment up. Okay, so we hit preview now. We should start to see how that comes together. Okay, so I have this timed controller on the wall, which is an entity, or sorry, that's something that we've made that will kind of on a timer turn off and on and trigger certain things on the network that we want it to. So I can press this button and that's going to give me this cube that's appeared out of nowhere. I can then grab that, chuck that on there, and that will power this on. So with a little bit more setup, I'd then get it to do a bit more with the door and that sort of thing. But what I'll do for now is I'm just going to press F5 and return back to the editor mode. So that's one nice thing with Crayta, is that we're sort of really quickly able to jump between the editor experience and the preview experience to sort of get quick feedback on the changes that we're making. So we can see that these things are sort of various components that we probably want to put together for this package. So let's just check what we've got here. So this is an instance of a template. So to a bit more of a sort of information on what a template is. So a template is a collection of entities. So in this case, we have several entities here. We have this pad mesh. We have this button as a single mesh. So if I just start to expand out this world tree here, we should see these things. We have a light, which is another entity. So that's its own sort of entity in the world. That gets all the same properties as a other entity, but then some extra ones specific to the light. If I scroll down, we might start to see those things. Around here, we can see sort of the inner outer angle. We can change the intensity of the light, what type of light it is. So there's a few things we can do sort of with specific entities. Triggers as well are another example of an entity. So with all of these things in the world tree grouped together in sort of a parent-child hierarchy, pull that down, we're able to create these templates. So this is already something that was templated up. If I press this edit template button here, that's going to take me to this dedicated view where I can see all these things together to get a real good idea of what my sort of template consists of. And stop editing, I'll go back to the main world. Okay, so we click here, we can see that this is already also an instance of the template power pad. The door, I believe, already is, and the light. So what we might need to make now is just a couple more templates. So this detector isn't actually already a template, and we can see here in the world tree that this detector consists of a sort of metal detector mesh, a voxel mesh in the middle, which is how we get this sort of blue light effect in the middle. So that's actually an extraction of voxels, which now behaves as its own entity. And this detect trigger, so this trigger box in there again is its own entity in the world. Now some of these entities do come with their own components. So for example, the detector has this script on it. You may not be able to see if I just hide those. So down here we can see this detector script, which is an example of sort of an asset that we have in the game that's been attached to this entity. So there's a slight difference there between assets and entities. So assets are things like our scripts and our widgets, things that we create that live in the library that can be attached to multiple entities. And then our entities are sort of the things we have in the world that we can see here in front of us. Okay, so first thing I want to do now is get my detector, and I'm going to hit this template button just up here. I'm going to say create a new template, and simply just need to give it a name. And I'll just call it detector. Okay, so now I can see that this, what I have in the world here, is an instance of this template. So if I click that same button as before, we get this dedicated template view where we get to edit this template in its sort of special, sort of easy to work on space. and then we can stop editing to return back to the world. Now, the only other thing we want to make a template of here is one of these timed controllers. And again, the time controller is another example of an entity which comprises of other entities. So in this case, we have the electric box mesh, and then underneath that as a child, we have the light mesh, which is this sort of light actual that we can see here. And then we have a light, which is a sort of a light entity. And again, that comes with all those light properties, things like intensity, type, inner, outer angle, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so if we click on the parent up here, and we'll just do the same. So we'll create a new template, and we'll call that times controller. Okay. So now we have these templates. We can go to our templates tab over on the left-hand side, and if we switch this to the list view, we can see that here there's a whole list of templates in this world. So things like our power cube was already a template. We can place those, sort of get new instances of those in the world. And then here we have the timed controller that we just made. And again, we can place all the instances of that. And then we can do all sorts of things to this specific instance if you wanted to sort of make them slightly different to the master template. If we wanted to change something about the template, we could do that as well. So we'll do that a little bit later on. But for example, if we placed 10 instances of this timed controller, and then we went and changed the master version of it, all those placed instances would get that sort of that update come through to them. Okay, how are you getting on, Adam? You still there?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm just sort of blocking out the level, ready for some templates to come in.
Cool. Okay, well, I'll get those put together for you now then. So one thing that we've mentioned and we've used a few times on previous streams is the community tab. Now this is a place that allows us to kind of browse packages that other players have uploaded. And these packages are things that players have wanted to share for other users to kind of use in their in their own games. So to create a package, I just simply go to the library and go to the packages section. And here I can see the packages that are already in this game. So I have an inventory package, a gun package, and a physics gun package. If I click up here and go on create new package, I'm going to get this dialog that appears in the middle of the screen. And it's just a sort of like a simple form to fill out. So we're at the top, we give it a name, and we'll call this the puzzle pack. Okay, and we can give it a description. So collection of templates for making a puzzle game. Okay, and now we just need to simply drag and drop the things that we want in this package into it. So if I go back to my templates tab at the side, I can go through and collect all the things that I want. So starting from the top, we want the detector. Okay, and then as soon as I try and add that, it's going to give me this prompt. Now what this prompt does, it allows me to just double check what that's actually going to bring into the packages. If this detector contains several entities and assets, it's going to sort of warn me, okay, these things will come in as well. If this detector has a dependency on another package, it's going to say, okay, I need to install that package as well. So the package system is sort of intelligent enough to know where these things came from and whether using this particular template in this package will also require the download of a different one. So here I can say show all linked items. So by ticking this box, I can see that by including my detector, and if I hover over it, it also highlights the things that are coming in because of this. So I can see that the detector script that I saw earlier that was attached to it is an asset that's going to come with it. And the detector glass, which was the voxel mesh, that's also going to come into the package. I click show all package assets, nothing else changes, so I know that it's not going to bring in any of the packages with this. Okay, and then we can just slowly work our way through here. So we'll do the same with the door. Again, our door script and the lockable entity script, or all things that come with that. Lock light, item spawner, timed controller, power pad. So again, these are all just the templates that are in this world that are kind of our building blocks for this puzzle game. Okay. Power pad. So interestingly, this time I've gone to drag in my blue power cube, and I have this small linked item instead of a plus. And what this is telling me is this was actually already included in the package, and that'll be because I dragged in the item spawner, and the item spawner in the properties said that it needed to have when you click the button, it would spawn a blue power cube. Therefore, for the item spawner to work as the template requires, it would need this blue power cube to be included in the package as well. So it automatically pulled that through. All this is telling me is that, okay, it's already in the package and it will remain there. Okay, I think that should be everything. So again, we can just do that final check. So we can see show all linked items. And that's going to bring out this drop down to quite a long list now. And if I hover over things there, so if I hover over the item spawner, I can now see that the blue power cube is highlighted, telling me that that's why, and that's where that came from. Okay, and now I just have to hit create. And the final prompt is just to double check all those things. Hit confirm. And that will take a second, and that was quite a large one, so we'll see how quickly that gets created. So that's just basically create that package in the background and then sort of do some wizardry in the background and try and put that one together. Okay, once that's finished doing that and it comes back, we'll jump over to the other game and install it. So as always, if there are any questions, make sure you shout them out in the chat. We do have plenty of mods in the chat who are there to sort of answer them. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to return to my Puzzle Rooms game now. Oh wow, okay.
It should look vaguely more decorated than before.
Yeah, there's quite a lot going on there. That's quite cool. I'm just going to jump and get my drone out.
But the one thing it lacks at the moment is any puzzle logic.
Yeah, we'll get those.
Should be on the way
in a moment. Okay, I'll come and have a fly over and find you. I wonder if there's a different floor we could have. And then, oh, I see you are. You sort of stood out here by yourself.
Oh, you're looking for my character?
Yeah, you sort of stood out here, I can see. Yeah, I wonder if we could change the floor to something just slightly different.
Yeah, it's not great actually.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Okay. Well, while you do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to download that package that we just had. So yeah, the carpet's a bit different. Yeah, maybe not the carpet. Okay, so to download the package, I mentioned the community tab earlier. So if I go to the community tab up here on the left, and then search at the top, I can search for puzzle. So I can see here I've got the puzzle pack with my description of a collection, misspell, of templates for making a puzzle game. So if I hit install, that's now going to get all those templates that I packaged up and install them into this game. So if I go to my list here, I can see that all these little boxes here are telling me that these are from a package. And if I hover over it, it tells me which package they've come from. And I've got all my things like my item spawners and my power cubes and that sort of thing. So we can start trying to think, right, let's start putting these puzzles together. So if I just click and focus on room 1. So this is the very first room. So Adam, do you want to jump into room 1 and start trying to help me place these things?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the thinking with this puzzle then in this first room?
So I think this first one probably just goes really straightforward, like that example before. So have the power pad with a box already in the room, and that will open the door. So I'll place one of the boxes. In fact, I'll do that from basic mode. If you want to place the power pad and just check the wheel tree and things all make sense.
Yep, will do. I've made sure the world tree is all organized into rooms as well.
Cool. Okay, that's good.
Should keep it tidy.
Okay, so I'm going to place that there. Okay, and then we should just need a light, so I can place a lock light. Place one of those above this doorway.
And then we want a door there, don't we?
Yes, which I can do that as well, actually.
Okay, sure.
Place that door. Okay, so there we can quickly see that we've managed to, without any sort of scripting necessarily, or without any kind of without any like too much work here, we're actually starting to pull in these components and put them together in sort of quite quick fashion. And we can also do those things from basic mode. We can install the packages from basic mode. So if there's something that you think would be quite cool to use, but you're not an advanced user, that doesn't matter. From the basic mode, you can install these packages from there and start running around and placing them much in the same way I placed the blue cube at the start. Do you want to move your pad over perhaps, and I'll just put this blue cube out of the way.
Which way over?
In front of the door. Would that make more sense?
Yeah, it could do.
Yeah, that'd be good. Excellent. Okay, cool. Our first little puzzle coming together.
Just going to raise the cube up so you see it drop down when you spawn in, maybe.
Okay, cool. We've got a spawn point here. That's good. So when you're ready, do you think we could have a quick test of that, see how well that works?
Yeah, so I missed, have you wired up the
I haven't.
Wire to the door?
I haven't done that yet. Yeah, if you wanted to quickly do that. I showed it in the other one, just the dragon of entities of events, if you wanted to do that.
Okie doke. I'll just quickly wire that into the events. So the power line goes to the lock light, and then the lock light goes to the door.
Yep. Have a quick look. So the door needs to know its lock entities. So you see on the lockable entity script.
Yep, lock entity. So I've dragged in the lock light one.
Yep. Brilliant. So that's that. And
should
then
work.
The power line should power the lights as well.
Yes.
Yes, cool. Okay, we'll just check that this power pad is listening for that. Unpowered. Okay, we can try that. Yep. So I'm going to press preview, see how well that's worked. So just a little example of what was going on there is me and Adam were kind of working together in real time to try and sort of debug and build this puzzle. Oh, looks like our cubes disappeared.
Yeah. That's
okay, let's just jump back to preview and see what happened there. Up here, we'll try it one more time. It might be to do with the way the physics spawn. If so, we'll switch this to an item spawner, see how well that works. So let's give it one more go, see if it behaves this time. Ooh. No, it looks like we're having a bit of issue with that. Okay, no problem.
We'll definitely got collision on the cube.
It should have, yeah. What we'll do is we'll just switch to the item spawner that I bought in. I'm just going to drag one of those in from the world tree, from the library. So we can actually delete this instance because it still had the template stored in the library. And I'm going to say down here, okay, this is going to spawn me one when I click the button. Okay, so we'll hit preview now. We'll try it this time. There we go. Okay, so for anyone who hasn't seen this gun before, this is an example of how sort of weapons and things in Crayta can be kind of made by creators. So they're not all sort of built in, included with Crayta, but okay, I'll go into first person view actually and have a little look at Adam's. You just put that down a sec, Adam.
Oh, sorry.
So we can see that we have one of our sort of, it's like an explosive mesh on the side of a railgun with a light in it. So it's kind of kit bashed together from various meshes, and then has custom scripts which we've written to sort of act like a physics gun. So if I hold right click on an object, it will pick it up, and then when I let go, it sort of restores that that entity back to sort of normal physics. So if I drop that on there, we'll see that that's going to power our power line, and that's going to tell the light to turn on. Okay, so again, without any coding, we've managed to lean on the community tab and sort of rely on something that other players have created to start putting our own worlds and games together. So I'm going to press F5 again to return to the editor. So just another little thing that we're showing there is how quick you can actually get between the editor and preview. And I mentioned that earlier, but actually in terms of debugging and game design, it's quite amazing how much of a difference that actually makes, being able to get between the two super quick. It makes you preview more often, and I think that getting that instant feedback is actually really vital. Okay, so shall we move on to another room now, Adam?
Yeah.
How about we go for the room maybe with 2 different cubes and 2 different sort of power pads?
Sure. So I've set up rooms 2 and 3 kind of just as empty rooms, so you can go for whatever you want in them, really.
Yeah, that sounds good. Do you want to make a sort of version of the power pad that's red, and I'll make the cube?
Yep, that sounds good.
That sounds good. Cool. So one thing we can do with our templates, we have this blue template that I've just dragged in here. So the template itself is this sort of asset, or say it's this entity. What would be quite nice now is to have a red version. So instead of starting from scratch and thinking, right, I need to make a red cube and add all the scripts that this one has, what I can actually do is use this button over here to break the link to the template. So this is an instance in the world of this template. And actually what is really useful now is if I just break that link and treat this as entirely its own entity. So it warns me, are you sure you want to break the link with the template? I'll break the link. Okay, so at this point, any changes to the blue cube won't affect this particular instance of the blue cube. And this kind of gives me now the freedom to morph this into something else, and then I can template it again, sort of capture the state I've changed it to. So first thing I want to do is rename it. So I'm going to call it this instance, say, power cube red. Okay, and if we just look up here, all this is a voxel mesh. Okay, so that voxel mesh, which we can see here is the mesh name, is actually something that lives in the library. So this voxel mesh section here shows us all the voxel meshes in the game. And again, a voxel mesh is an extraction of voxels from the main sort of base terrain, the terrain itself being a voxel mesh. So if I was to select an area of the terrain and extract it, that would create me a new voxel mesh. And what that allows us to do is do sort of creations with the voxels that can then be treated like any other entity. Okay, so if
and to go with your red cube, I should have a red power pad here that works.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, a bit quicker than I am. Okay, so what you've done there, I guess, is you've kind of changed the voxel mesh from the outside to the red one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as I say, so the voxel, also the voxel mesh in here, we can see if I place this, it actually looks identical. But what we have here is an instance of, or this is an entity which is the voxel mesh itself, and that's just the mesh. There'll be no scripts attached to this one. Whereas this one being our template, we see it's actually come with the various scripts attached to it and the various settings already set. So physics being enabled on it, gravity, it's got a weight set on it. It's had a pivot point that's made slightly differently, and this destroy script. So there's various scripts which came with that, which makes it a template. I'm just going to delete that one. But what I want to do is I want to make a unique voxel mesh now for my red one. So to do that, I could either create a new asset and build the cube again, or I can press this button over here at the side, which creates me a unique copy of this specific voxel mesh asset. So to do that, I'll just click the button, I'll give it a name, and again, I'm going to call this power cube red. Okay, so now any changes I make to this voxel mesh won't affect the voxel mesh that's used by the main blue template. And I think I'm going to pick the same one that Adam's done actually. So I'm going to go to my voxel tools up at the top and pick the sort of eyedropper tool. Click on there. And then what that's going to do is that's going to pull out the exact voxel mesh that Adam's used on here and get that onto my brush. And then do a voxel fill. Okay, then straight away we can see that I've got this new sort of red version of the box. So the last thing I need to do now is just create a new template. We'll call this our cube red. Okay, so now I've got this as a template. I'm actually able to delete this instance. And we'll want to update this pad to make sure it's only listening for a red cube. Now I could update that on this instance here, but that would mean that the template doesn't necessarily have that change. So what I can do again is I can go edit template to look at the sort of master copy of this and scroll down to see what it's powered by. So here I can still see, you just about see it, that it's still powered by a blue cube. All I need to do is change this, say, okay, now I'm powered by a red cube. Now this drop down, if we just have a quick look in the script, we can see that if I try zooming in. Okay, so from our properties here, I can see that the power object template type is of type template. So the template is a type we can specify in the properties, which means that this drop down that we get in the properties at the side only gives me the templates of the game. That's just a really nice way of being able to quickly filter and assign those things to the script. Okay, so I can stop editing. So what's going to happen now is this is only going to listen to input from a red cube. Okay, so we'll probably want to add a, so what's your plan with this puzzle here, Adam?
So the plan here is that you see I've sort of blocked off this separate corner of the room.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so the idea is I was going to put a door in there. So what you have to do is put a blue cube onto a blue power pad, which will go on the right here, and that will open the door into this room. Then there'll be a spawner for the red cube in there. So you have to collect the red cube to put on the red power pad to then open the main door.
Okay, cool. I can help you with that, certainly. So if I get your item spawners in.
Cool, I'll set up the door.
So let's say that this item spawner is going to give me a blue cube, as it still is. And then inside here, rotate this. Okay, so inside this room, that's going to give me a, again, changing the drop down to the side, a red cube. And then finally, we just want another power pad, so I'll throw that one down for you.
And I'll put in the door and wire them up if you like.
Okay, yeah, and I'll probably move over to the next room while you do that.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. So again, all we're doing so far is just using those packages as sort of drag and drop components and to start throwing our puzzle game together. Okay, I'm going to fly through to the next room.
I'm starting to think I didn't make these rooms big enough. They're looking a bit crowded.
That's okay. That's maybe that's part of the puzzle. It's trying to coordinate with each other. Okay. In fact, while you work on that, I think what I'll do is what might be quite nice is when the puzzle is solved and the door is opened at the end, it'd be nice if there was some sort of notification to all the players.
Yeah, that would be good.
So I might just go and do that now. So what I want to do is I want to update my door script. So if I go to the door script, I can see on here that there's some logic already been written and it's quite straightforward. It's just sort of plays an animation on the door based on whether or not it's open. All of the animations are sort of built into these meshes. So the nice thing is we just tell the door literally with a play animation API call, and we just pass the string opening or closing, and then that will tell the mesh how to behave. So it'll either open the door or close it, and then that will handle all of the collision. So it will let a player through. once it's open, obviously, and then once it's closed, it won't let them through. All of that stuff's kind of built in and baked into Crayta, which just, again, it's just really nice little things you don't have to care about too much as a creator. It just kind of works. Adam, do you want to maybe just jump in the door script with me quickly when you're ready?
Sure.
We'll just quickly show how that works. Cool. Okay, so what you might see now is Adam's actually in the script with me. If you could do me a text property, which is what the players will see, kind of what the notification is.
Yep.
Okay.
What are we calling this? Door notification?
Yeah, something like that. Okay.
I added a tooltip as well, because why not?
Cool. Okay. So what we can see here is we have this option to sort of collaboratively code together in real time. So the collaboration extends beyond just the actual world creation and the world building, and actually we're able to work in the same scripts together sort of in real time, which is really useful. So what we can do here is that what we want to do? Trying to think how this is going to work, actually. Trying to make this up on the fly.
I guess we'll need to pass a player in.
Yeah, or so we want to shout this to all instances of a user. Would that work?
Oh, all instances.
Yeah.
All users. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah. So if we do shout to players,
so
and I'll just do a loop through.
Yeah,
cool. That's fine. Yeah, fine. I had planned this earlier.
You're making this up on the fly.
I had planned this, but yeah. So okay, so we'll just do a little bit of coding here. So get world for each user. Okay, and I want to pass a function into this, which will loop through our users. So this is just a way that we can interact with the users in the world. And the point I'm kind of making here is that users are also a template. So once I've written this, I'll go and check out the user template and show you what the code is we're actually going to be calling here. So this get world is an API call that gets you sort of the world entity in Crayta to sort of start making further calls from. So get world for each user is a sort of, again, a built-in API call that will loop through all of the user templates in the world. And the function that we want to loop through with is user center scripts. Okay, shout. And what we want to shout is our message. So self.properties door notification. Okay, so when I save this script, we see that over here on the right hand side, we get this text box appear as an option. Now I could write this here again on this instance, but what it would make more sense would be to update the door template. If I click edit template and go back to my game tab, I see we have this door here. And you'll notice that this door notification property is actually already on this version of it. So by updating the door script, which is an asset, that asset is obviously attached to all of the doors, so that will automatically pick up that update as well. And we'll just say door is, and then we'll say state with the curly braces. So what we can do here is we can actually do a little bit of formatting here to determine what message comes out. So we'll just return to here for the door notification. So we can say text dot format. Okay, so we want two parts to this, and we want the message that we have up here. And then we want so is open is stored as self open. Okay, so that'll either be true or false. Okay, so that should work. So if we update our message here, so door is open equals true or false. Okay.
I haven't tried formatting a Boolean into text before. I don't know if we might need a 2-string in there or something. But we can try it.
I think it
and
works.
We can always change
yeah,
it.
we can always work. I mean, that's the beauty again of just a quick, rapid editor to preview. So, okay, so what we're doing here is we're using our user entity, which comes through here to send to the scripts, a shout, and then that shout is going to be a formatted message. Now, if I go to the up here, if I go to the world trip here, and I can actually filter for user, I can see that there's various templates already here. Look at, so I can look at the user. Okay, and the user is just represented by this circle here. So the user doesn't get a physical representation in the world. The user is a lot of the logic around kind of the account, for example. The player is the physical representation, which is another template we can have a quick look at. Okay, so we don't actually see the player here, but anything against this template. So again, we get things like the speed multiplier, the jump, whether they can sprint or not, what camera angle the player uses. So they're all things that relate to the actual kind of physical player that you see in the world. Okay. Cool. Okay, so on our user, we can see that we've got this user inventory. So we want to get a sort of notification system. So did you download that at all? Yeah, Adam?
Yeah, the notifications should be downloaded. Yeah. I don't think I added them to the user.
No, that's okay. I can do that. So I can see here they've got this notifications package just sitting sort of slightly above my head. And what that is again, it's another package which comes sort of with Crayta, for example. So we have here, we see this little Crayta logo sitting next to some of the packages, and that's telling us that they're built-in packages that we've kind of developed in-house ourselves. So if I expand this out, I can drag user notifications simply from there over to here, and that's given me another script folder. So we mentioned script folders before, a kind of a collection of scripts on the user. Okay, and have a quick look at the script that came with that, so notification script. And if I scroll down, I can see that there's this shout function. That's where we should get up to in terms of the sort of that send to all scripts from each user. Okay. How are we doing? We're ready for a quick preview, you think?
Yeah, we can certainly test the first 2 rooms.
Yeah. Okay, and we'll see. If I just quickly check here, we should see all of our doors have received that door notification message. So again, by updating that master door, that's sort of flooded through, and all of our instances that we've placed have received that change. Okay, I'm going to hit preview.
Cool. I'll let you do the honors of the first room.
Okay, thank you very much.
You'll see I've decorated a little bit.
Yeah, looking really cool. Oh, that's quite cool. I like that sort of collection of voxel meshes.
Yeah, it's a really novel way of using different voxel meshes and rotating them.
Okay. I don't think we saw the shout, so you might be right about that. So we'll try and clean that logic up. Okay, so now we need a blue cube. So we should see that this doesn't do anything with this pad. And again, that's because we've told this red pad that it needs to explicitly be a red template. But the blue pad should work fine. Now, did I update this to be a red pad? I did.
Yes.
A red cube on this one, and that opens our door.
Not the most challenging of puzzles.
No,
it's a good start.
Good start. Okay, I'm going to press F5 to go back. Okay, cool. So there's a few things we've started to put together there, which work say quite nicely as sort of components for this puzzle pack. While I might leave you to sort of start maybe doing a couple more puzzles there, Adam.
Sure.
We had things like the timed controller, which I can come back and do if you like, but if not, feel free to have a little play with those with the next room. I'm just going to quickly jump back to our other game that we had and add some more to the package. So we've used our package. we've started to kind of explore those things a bit more. There's a few little arrows appearing in here. That should... okay, so I can fly outside here, and we should see we've got slightly more complex examples that we've already made. But again, don't let this be too daunting. I know this is quite a sort of a technical, quite heavy stream, but within Crayta, you're able to make much more simple, but much more sort of like easily accessible games. They're not all this sort of deep dive technical. This is kind of touching the very much more technical side of how games are made in Crayta. But as I said before, all of these packages are downloadable from the basic mode. So players who are on sort of on the Chromecast, for example, will be able to access these packages and start using them in their games. You don't have to be on a mouse and keyboard, and you don't have to necessarily understand the intricate workings of them all. Some packages will work in ways that are really sort of friendly and accessible. Okay, so what we have here is something that Adam worked on, which are sort of logic gates. There's some sort of just to sort of expand the sort of power line concept we've got here. We have these again, these little kind of collections of entities that work with all sorts of scripts attached to behave in certain ways. So this would be an AND gate, which means that both inputs here need to be on in order to power the door. And here we have a NOT gate. So if there's power coming to here, then we're not going to get power on the other side. So it kind of reverses it. And it's these simple little things that we can start to put into templates that actually then really start to allow us to explore extra options. So I'm going to look here at our NOT gate. Okay, and I can see that this isn't a template, so I'm just going to create that now. So power NOT gate. And power gate. Okay, so now we've got those things here. I think they're the only two things I should need, aren't they, Adam? Just the two gates.
Yeah, that should be right. Yeah,
should be right. Okay, so at any point I can return to my packages list, and just behind my head here we can see we've got the there's a small button just here that allows me to sort of edit this package. So I get all these icons and again all this sort of stuff in here. So it's a very similar package sort of prompt to what we had before, but now we're in a position to actually start adding and taking away and doing stuff with the puzzle pack. So what we want to do is add our new templates. So power NOT gate, we'll add that. Show any linked items. So we've got a script and the power line script, but that was already part of the package, so that's fine. And our power gate. Again, power gate script and our power line script is already included. Okay, and we get this changelog option. So instead of giving it a name this time, because you already did, I can now just say what's been included. So added more advanced options. Okay, hit update. Okay, so we'll just see that dialog appear again while it's just starting to update the package. And then what we'll do is we'll jump back to the world and we'll actually update the package from that end, and it will pull in these small changes that we've made. If anyone does have any questions, make sure you are asking them in the chat. So we've got several mods there sort of waiting to answer your questions. And for anyone who might be new here for the first time, Crayta is a collaborative game development platform which is coming exclusively to Stadia this summer. So what we're showing you now is kind of a deep dive into how templates and packages work. But if you are interested in Crayta, then make sure you do subscribe. We've got all sorts of content already on the channel for you to have a look at. All sorts of streams with the tutorials in mind, or Crayta showcases for some of the games that are actually going to be playable at launch on Crayta. Okay, cool. So at this point I can jump back into my other game, Puzzle Rooms. And the speed between games again as well, that's kind of a massive beauty of Crayta. I don't have to spend ages jumping in and out of games. I can just a couple of clicks and I'm straight back in. Okay, cool. I see this is getting a little bit more advanced now. It's cool.
So we should have this time controller keeps opening and closing this door.
Yep.
You can spawn a cube here, and you can't get through that door, so you have to leave the cube, and then you have to go through this detector, which will take any cubes off you to retrieve it on the other side, put it on the pad, and open the door.
Cool. Okay, that sounds quite cool. So you're starting to use the environment as well, which is nice. You know, it's not just about the components, but the environment itself can really sort of lend itself to the gameplay. So if I go to my community tab, I can scroll down and find the puzzle pack, and we see that now I have this install update button. If I click that, the game knows that there's an update, that the package has changed since we last installed it. And now if I go to my library and go to my templates, we can see that the power gate and power not gate are two things that are available for us to use in here. So, okay, how soon do you think you're ready for a quick preview of this new puzzle?
I'm just going to wire it up. So I haven't wired any of the things together yet, so it should take 2 minutes.
Okay, cool. What I shall start doing then is maybe having a look at the as a bit of a final room. I was trying to work out where we go.
I think I may have lied to you. I think it's done.
I think it's done. Okay, should we be brave and hit
Let's
go?
try it. Why not?
Cool.
Yeah.
Hit play. Okay. Spawn there.
Teamwork.
Okay.
So yes, so this is working. So each time that turns green, the door opens. Turns red, it closes.
Nice. Okay, and then again, spawn in the block. So if I try and move through here, that trigger that's in there will zap the block away from me. So now I need to drop it through there, and then you can come and grab it from this side. Nice. Okay, nice straightforward stuff, and the door's all hooked up. Excellent. Cool. Okay, right, well, I shall return to the editor and we'll jump in and get our last sort of and not example hooked up. And then I think we'll be almost done with our super straightforward little puzzle game without any coding required. So again, as I say, the beauty of this is it doesn't require any coding necessarily. We're able to take templates and things. So as we added the notification shout for the door, we can do some things with the scripts and assets and the entities that we get. We change the blue cube to a red cube, so we're not fixed in what we download, but by downloading that pack, it's actually given us quite a lot to play with, where we can start throwing our own sort of puzzle games together. This might make for a really fun, interesting sort of 4-player race through the rooms sort of puzzle time trial type game. It could also be used in sort of some sort of exploration game, for example, or there's all sorts of examples that these can be used in, and I think that's a really nice way of exploring the community tab, is actually taking things and trying to use them in a unique way, which is quite interesting. Oh, big long straight tunnel I see you've just made out here.
Yep, I'm trying to make it into a room at the moment with the shape tool.
Okay.
So these logic gates start to make the puzzles a little bit more complex.
Yeah, so when you place some, let me know and I'll have a look and you can maybe just talk us through how they work. Cool. I'll never get over how cool it is when like a drone buzzes around you and the environment starts like kind of building around you. It's always really cool. So I'm just sort of standing here witnessing how quick you're throwing this room together.
Should probably put a end wall on this as well.
Yep. What sort of things do you want for this? Do you want a couple of power pads, perhaps?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I can place them in.
Just trying to think. So what do we want? We want a NOT gate and an AND gate used in this one.
Yeah, either or. Maybe even if it's just one of them, that should be fine.
I think we can probably use both.
Okay.
Let's go for both, and we'll do a bit of a hidden room thing like we did in room 2 as well.
Okay, sure.
I've got an idea of how we could do this.
No problem. So you got a blue power pad. You probably want a red power pad as well. Spin that around.
So what I'm thinking is we'll have a blue spawner that you can access. So you can place a blue one onto the blue power pad.
Yep.
And that'll open up the secret door. So it feels a lot like room 2. And that gets you to the red spawner. But the trick is then there's an AND gate between the red and the blue. So you have to turn them both on to turn on the door. But we could also add a NOT into blue's power line. So you actually have to take the blue cube back off of the blue pad for it to activate. If that makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah, we start throwing that together, see how quickly we can do that.
Yep. I'll put in the logic gates if you want to build out that secret room and the spawners.
Yeah, sure. So we might just need a little bit more room actually. So shall I? I'm just going to fly out and just extend the room a bit wider.
Yeah, I think that's fair actually. Once I started talking about it, I thought this room's not big enough.
Yeah. Okay, so we want 3 gates at the back then, or 3 pads.
3? No, we should only need 2 pads.
Okay, 2 pads. An item spawner.
So a blue one that you can reach and a red one that you can't
reach. Okay, cool.
And I think the blue one should activate a secret, well, not a secret, but a door into a sort of side room.
Okay, I can do that. Okay, so as we start to wrap up these sort of templates and packages for Masterclass, make sure you do get any questions into the chat. As I say, the mods are sort of doing a great job keeping up with the current questions, but keep them coming. So we'd love to hear what you think. Let us know your game ideas, perhaps. What sort of things would you like to do with this puzzle pack? Okay, pull that down.
Okay, you put it on the side I wasn't expecting. I'm going to have to work out how to send a wire over that way.
That's okay, I can move it. That's not a problem. Again, it's the beauty of real-time collaboration, is you can give me instant feedback.
Other side.
Other side?
No, sorry, I meant the whole room.
Ah.
It's just that I have to wire the blue pad
That's not a problem.
into that door. Okay. I mean, I don't have to wire it in. Obviously, we can just change the events to open whichever door we want.
That's okay. So you want this room on the other side?
Yep. About there is good.
Okay, so I can just grab these voxels that I've made. And hit move, and that now gives me sort of a brush to work with. Back a bit.
So what's it called? A lock light. I'm going to put a lock light onto there.
That's taking too long. I'll try it the other way. The one stream we do have coming up at some point soon will be a sort of a voxels masterclass. So if all of this is very technical, then don't worry. We will have a sort of a building stream coming up at some point soon, where we'll go into more detail about how all the voxel sort of advanced tools come together and that sort of thing. Okay, so I can just carve out this room with our shape tool.
I feel like I've run out of space to put in a NOT gate. We'll just go for the AND.
Just go for the AND. Yeah, that's no problem. It gets the right idea.
Puzzle simpler.
Okay. Cool. So, how are we looking? We have everything we need, do you think, for that? So we've got a blue. We need a red as well then.
Yeah, so we need a red spawner in
the secret room. Cool. Okay, so again, we just change this simply in the drop down to be red. Okay, and then do you need a door, like an escape door as well?
Yeah, so I think one more power line after this AND gate
Sort of straight.
that
Okay.
leads into a door. Yep, from the sort of looking like it's coming from the output of the gate.
Oh, okay, so directly. I just pull the wall in like that,
Yeah, that would work.
and then we can.
Did you explain the concept of these gates, by the way?
Not yet. As if you wanted to talk about the way, I think I touched upon it, but yeah, feel free to expand on that.
Yeah, so for anyone that's not familiar with logic gates, essentially what we're doing here is we're sort of adding these components into our circuit, if you like, where we've got this power going through these power lines. And these components that we're calling these gates or these logic gates essentially take two inputs in these cases and give one output. So when we say AND gate, basically input A and input B have to be on or true or positive for the output to be on. So essentially you have to power both of the inputs into this, both the red and blue pads, to get the output to be on. But we can also make it an OR gate, so you only have to have one or the other, or an exclusive OR, where you have to have either A or B, but not both turned on to open the door. So it just helps to make slightly trickier puzzles.
Yeah, and I think, I know, and again, the beauty of that is this is something that me and Adam have worked on the last couple of days, just to sort of, as an example more than anything, but these are all kind of examples of entities and scripts and things that have been made in Crayta. So the flexibility and the power really is there.
Just thinking, are we done with this room?
We could well be. So
other than decoration.
Have you hooked up that this left-hand door will open on the gate?
Not that door. I knew there was something I was missing.
I've done the
So
right.
I've got it to.
I've done the right-hand door without a lock light, but it should just literally open on the gate. If you want to double check that.
Yeah, it looked like it was good. I just checked that one.
Cool.
But I'll just get this door hooked up to that lock light.
Okay.
So the door needs to know which lock entity it's looking at. Okay, I think that should probably work. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just go for a final preview then of this. Okay, so first puzzle, box on the pad, works nicely. Okay, so we get a blue on here, red on there. Okay, wait for the door to open. Nice, you're already there to grab it, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Bit
so...
of teamwork. Ooh, something's definitely gone wrong.
Oh, that door's already
This
open.
door's open. Oh well.
Okay, so blue on here. Whoop. Oh, it spawned a pad. Oh, wow. So when your templates get mixed up, I picked the wrong thing. It spawned a pad, not a thing. So
that's amazing.
That's pretty funny. So, okay. Well, I mean, we still portrayed the idea. We've sort of showing off, obviously, how these templates all come together and how we're spawning interesting things at runtime, not necessarily the cubes that we want. Okay. Well, I think hopefully that's been a good sort of introduction to the sort of the way that templates and packages work within games. So we can share all sorts of things between games, let's say our entities, our templates, our assets. Our templates being a collection of those entities. So what we've built here relatively quickly, so in about an hour, is a puzzle game using one of those packages. So the power is really there for creators to work together and collaborate on all sorts of different projects. We've used packages all the time through a lot of the games that we make. It's a really useful way to work together. It's really good fun. So, okay, thanks again, Adam, for helping me. It's always good fun. Thanks again to all the mods for all the work they've done answering questions. And if you do have any questions that haven't been answered, then do jump into our Discord. If one of the mods could share that link now, that'd be great. But on our Discord, we're always sort of doing our best to answer the questions that come in. If you're interested in Crayta and you want to learn more, then make sure you subscribe here and set up your notifications to get alerted as to when our streams are coming out. At the moment, they're running every Tuesday and Friday at 7 o'clock BST. So yeah, if you do sign up for reminders, you'll get a link to when we set up our streams, and you can go on that to get the exact time when they'll start in your time zone. But yeah, I say thanks again. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you do like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next stream.